doing some Van Halen today. Yay! Howdy gang, hope you're all having a fantastic day. So Eddie Van Halen has been on my mind quite a lot for a good few weeks now, after he passed away very, very tragically, very, very sadly as well, because he was such an incredible inspiration and influential figure in guitar playing. For me personally, he was probably the one who made the biggest impact, especially to the hard rock world, and nobody who's followed him since then, I don't think, has made such an enormous impact. But anyways, we're here to do some tapping today. Yeah! You know, I've been playing around with this for a couple of weeks now because my very good friend Nick Layton and I, earlier this year, actually near the beginning of the year, we had decided to do a new lesson pack which is out this month, and we were going to basically do Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen and one other guitar player. Anyways, Eddie very, very tragically passed away, and we decided to slim down the course to just Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen, give you guys some more licks. So now, instead of doing 30 licks in the styles of 3 different guitar players, we are doing 40 licks in the style of Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen. So 20 in the style of Randy Rhoads, 20 in the style of Eddie. And I'll leave a link in the description box below, so you guys can go and check that out if you would like to learn some more licks. But today I am going to show you 5 amazing tapping techniques which Eddie used so effectively in his just stunningly beautiful playing. So grab those guitars and let's get playing right now. Yeah! Yeah, first technique is the 3-note technique on a single string, which Eddie did. Now this is a very, very basic technique, really great for beginners to get tapping. It's the first technique I ever learned doing tapping on the guitar. So this basically works on the theory that you're playing 3 notes, single string. I'm just going to be playing on the high E string, and the first thing is I'm going to put my first finger on the 5th fret of the E string. I'm going to tap at the 10th fret with I use my 2nd finger here. You can use your 1st finger like Eddie did, and basically just palm the pick. And then I'm going to hammer on with one of my other fingers on my fret hand. I use my pinky onto the 8th fret. And that's going to be it. It's literally going to be tapping at the 10, pulling off to 5, and then hammering on to 8. So like this. And then you just repeat. Great technique. Really, really simple, easy. It was a technique which just blew people's minds when they first heard Van Halen 1. You know, Eruption comes on, 2nd song on the album, and he's doing this tapping stuff, and it sounds phenomenal. And everybody was probably like, what's this guy doing? It's a very, very simple technique, but so effective. There's such a beauty in the simplicity of this. Now, if you're a beginner, there's a little tip that I can give you to get these really popping off the fretboard. So when you do the tap with your pick hand, tap down on the fret that you're tapping on, and I'm tapping on the 10 here, and then either pull downwards towards the floor or pull upwards towards yourself, so you're plucking the string. Don't just bring it straight back up. So don't kind of do and up. You want to pull down or pull up. I'm obviously muting the note there, but if I put the note there, if I just tap and up, you can hear it, but it's not too loud. It's dying down pretty quickly. If I pull down or pull up, it's much more effective. And that lick that I did there, pretty cool one. Obviously inspired by Eruption. Wonderful lick. And it's basically based on this blues thing. So I'm playing in the key of D minor here. And it's basically based on this kind of thing. But it's a tapping version, which fits into hard rock really super well. Now, one of the amazing things about doing tapping rather than actually just doing the picking and hammering You can do it like that, but then moving around becomes difficult. So if I wanted to do the tap higher, then I've got to stretch right over, which is quite tricky. I can kind of manage it, but it's still tricky for me. But if I want to move the tap up 2 frets to the 12th fret, I can do that. And even higher if I want. And you can get some really, really cool stuff going on. So there you go. There's the first method, the 3 notes on a single string. Alrighty, we're moving on to the 2-string method. Now this is starting off the same. We're starting off on a single string and doing 3 notes. I'm playing in the key of E minor now. And what I'm going to do is tap at the 17th fret of the E string, pull back off to the 12th fret where my first finger is, and then hammer onto the 15th. Now the difference I'm going to make is I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the B string as well. So I'm going to then tap at the 17 on the B string, pull off to 12, and then hammer onto 15. So like this. Again, a really simple technique, but the genius thing about this is that we are playing this. So that second part, it's essentially sounding like I'm playing the 12th fret of the E string, 12th fret of the B, and then 15 on the B. And because we're doing it as tapping, it sounds super smooth. Really cool technique. Again, you can move the tap around, you can do bigger stretches as well. So if I kind of move the tap over to here. Or if I want to do a bigger stretch. You can get some really, really interesting phrasing going on with that tapping technique. So an extension of that first technique, the 2-string method. Love doing this because it kind of creates illusions within the playing. You know, it sounds more complex than it actually is, but just creates this beautiful, beautiful vibe. All right, let's get on to number 3. Yeah. God, I love that song. Hot for Teacher. Wonderful, 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 wonderful solo. Wonderful rhythm. Love playing it. Anyways, you're here for the tapping. Alright, this next method is the ascending, descending kind of pattern. So, on Hot for Teacher, at the end of the intro section, Eddie does this thing where he plays this phrase here. And then goes into the main body of the intro with the chords. Lovely, lovely pattern. And basically he's ascending notes first and then descending. And in fact, when he does the intro to the track as well, doing pretty much the same thing, but he's utilizing the open notes as well. So he's actually going up the notes and then back down and then changing positions. That end phrase is really, really cool as well because we're kind of using a diatomic shape and starting off on the 5th fret of the E string. What I'm going to do is then hammer on to the 7th fret and the 8th fret. Now in order to play the first note, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be tapping at the 12th, I'm actually just going to use my finger just to pluck the string. Easy as. So I'm not going to use my pick. You can use your pick, but I always find it easier to use my finger because then I'm going to tap there anyway and then it's going to be in position. So I'm going to pick that 5 with my finger plucking the string and then hammer onto the 7 and the 8. Then I'm going to tap onto the 12th fret of the E string, pull back off to 8, pull back off to 7, pull back off to 5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my pinky to hammer onto the 8th fret of the B string. So I'm going to tap out of nowhere there, and then basically I'm going to just descend now. So I'm going to tap at the 12 on the B string, pull back off to the same fret, so it's going to be 8, 7, 5. Then I'm going to tap onto the 8th fret of the G string here, tap at the 12, pull back off to 8, 7, 5. And then I'm going to tap with my my pinky onto the 8th fret of the D string here, then tap at the 12th fret, back to 8, 7, 5. Then I go into the first chord. And that's the pattern. It's basically kind of an ascending, descending type of thing. And you can actually make it more complicated, and lots of different guitar players have actually made this technique quite complicated. One of the phrases that comes to mind is the tapping section at the end of the solo of Dream Warriors by Dokken, George Lynch, who regular visitors to my channel will know that I am slightly influenced by George Lynch. And there's a tapping section at the end of the solo which goes something like this. And it's basically ascending and descending, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like playing scales, but with the tapping on top as well. Another thing you can do with this is actually introduce a bigger stretch into it. And this creates some really, really cool kind of licks, kind of like this. So there what I'm doing is I'm actually tapping onto the 17th fret. I'm changing the key to E minor. Tapping onto 17, and then I'm going to basically put my fret fingers onto the 10th fret, 12th fret and 15th fret. And I'm going to tap at the 17, pull off to 15, 12 and 10 first of all. And then with my pinky I'm tapping onto the 15 on the B string, moving my fingers up, same frets. I'm going to tap at the 17, pull back off to 15, 12 and 10 again. It's great, such a cool thing. It's pretty awesome. And you can even make this more complex by going up and down with this. So this time what I'll do is I'll actually I'll pluck the string, and then I'll go from 10 to 12 to 15 on the E string, tap at the 17, pull back off, and then what I'm going to do is kind of like hammer onto the 15th fret of the B string with my pinky, pull back off to the 12 and 10, hammer back onto the 12 and the 15, tap at the 17, then go back. Kind of like this. So a more complicated version, and if I do that quickly and kind of just cycle it, creates a really, really cool vibe. So there you go, there's number 3. Name the song before I play it. I love the song Parmar. Wonderful, wonderful song. Now, the tapping technique is something which is pretty unique to Eddie. Basically, what he does is he bends a note up and then he taps further up the fretboard. So in this case, he was playing in the key of B minor. The solo was played in the key of B minor, so kind of up here. And what he did was he bent the 9th fret of the G string up, full step, and then he held it there. Then what he did was he tapped on the 14th fret, the 12th fret, 14, 16, and then I think he comes back to 14. Actually comes all the way back to 12. Now, the cool thing about this is that when I'm tapping the notes, they aren't perfectly in pitch. Yeah. But they sound super, super, super cool. And there are other guitar players who have done this. You know, they bend the note up and then they basically play a note further up the fretboard. And it sounds great, but Eddie was just a genius at doing this. And even though the note was slightly out of pitch and intonation, still worked. It still created this really, really cool vibe. So very, very easy technique. All I did there was I bent the note and I'm holding it up. Now, one of the techniques that I use when I'm holding a note up is I'll put my thumb over the top and I'll kind of lock my hand into place in this kind of bear claw type of thing. So then the note can basically carry on and on and on and on, and it's very, very stable here. I'm not feeling any pressure on my hand. Then I'm going to do the taps just like I do a regular tap, but I'm going to do them slowly, and also the timing for this is quite particular. There's this slight laziness to it. And if you have a really close listen, it's a very, very, very cool vibe that he creates. Simple technique, and you can do it, you know, in various other places on the fretboard as well. But there's that little lick from Parmar. That's the 4th technique. Let's move on to the next one. You're gonna like this one. Yeah. How wonderful is that? How he came up with it is it's just genius. It's absolute genius. It's almost like he's playing drums, playing tabla, Indian tablas on like guitar. Fantastic technique. I love it. Absolutely love it. There's a variation that I kind of like play around with where I just go stuff like that. It's just so rhythmic. It's pretty damn awesome. And it probably came from Eddie playing drums initially and then switching over to guitar. Genius. So now this combines a bunch of stuff. Now we've already done the tapping thing. He's doing a 2-string tap here. So the 12th fret of the B string and the E string together. So just using his first finger, the tip of his first finger, flattening it, etc. Now the really genius thing that he did during this intro to Mean Streets was when he did the tapped harmonics. Firstly at the 12th fret of the low E string. And he does this right the way through. Now I'm not going to show you the whole lick, how to play it and stuff. If you would like a lesson on it, leave a comment. Maybe I'll do a lesson on the intro to Mean Street. Maybe. It's so damn cool. I love it. Anywho's, so then he goes on to do this awesome lick where he does. Now what he's doing there is he's actually tapping the harmonic at the 12th fret, pulling off to the open string, and then doing a hammer onto the 5th fret of the open string. So he starts off on the E string, does the same thing on the A string, and then on the D string. So he's not actually tapping on the fret itself. So he's not doing that, he's actually tapping above the fret. So he's getting that harmonic in there. And then what he did was, he did this. So basically what I was doing there was, I was doing vibrato on the 5th fret of the A string first of all, and I'm tapping over the 12th fret, then the 10th fret, then the 9th fret. And it creates different harmonics. So that's the 5th technique. It's actually creating tapped harmonics. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous technique. Now this is dependent on where you tap, and you can basically kind of experiment with different positions on the frets. At 12 frets above where I'm actually playing, that will give you the octave but as a harmonic. So it's the same note, which is very, very, very super cool. Then when you combine that with actually moving it around the fretboard, you can get various harmonics along there. Now the really important thing about this technique is you have to tap right above the fret. So you have to tap onto the string and then bounce off very quickly. So unlike when we did the tap where we were basically tapping onto the fret and then pulling off the string, this time you do want to bounce off it. You want to bounce straight off the fretboard, kind of away from it. So I do it very, very quickly. So if I'm doing this 12th fret on the A string, you can probably see that my finger is hitting the fret, and I'm hitting right above the fret wire here with the tip of my finger, so that the string essentially hits the fret. But then it's bouncing back very quickly. So if you watch again, and if I meander, if I hang on there, nothing happens. I get noises. So the tapped harmonic is very, very dependent on you doing that technique. So there you go, guys. 5 amazing, for me, mind-blowing kind of tapping techniques which Eddie basically brought to the table. He was the first guy in rock music to actually bring this to the forefront. You know, like I said, people heard Eruption and it was just like mind blown. You know, tapping hadn't been kind of like on records before that. There were other guitar players who were apparently doing tapping before that on acoustic guitars and stuff like that. There's some footage on YouTube which you can search out, but Eddie basically brought it to hard rock, and that just totally blew the world away. Such an amazing player, and he brought so much to guitar playing, changed the landscape of guitar playing. So there you go, guys. 5 wonderful, mind-blowing tapping techniques which Eddie Van Halen brought to guitar playing. Hope you enjoyed that. If you would like more, you can check out the lesson pack that Nick and I had done, which is out either right now or later this month, depending on when this video goes out and when we release the lesson pack. But it is super cool, and you will absolutely adore it, because we do full playthroughs, the lessons, we include tab, backing tracks, bonuses. There's so much in the pack, so do check it out. If you haven't done so already, please do also subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification as well, so you know when new videos are going to be coming out. And I'm going to be doing some more Van Halen videos. Yeah, because you know what, I love playing in this style, and I think I should. What do you guys reckon? Should I do some more Van Halen style lessons on my channel? Yeah, why not? Alright guys, have a fantastic day. I'm going to give you a Van Halen style track which I recorded a couple of years ago, and which I adored recording as well, and it was so much fun, and it's got a solo and everything in it. So enjoy, and I shall see you next time with another video. See you later guys, bye.